ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೇ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ then you will not be able to solve every question in 1 minute even if the question is based on fact. Power alcohol means you have 80% of petrol, 20% of alcohol with small quantity of benzene. Saccharin is an artificial sweetener. Hello my dear students, I am Priyanka Rajaram from Vidyashram PU College, Temple of Excellence. Today I shall solve Karnataka CET 2012 chemistry question paper for you all. So we'll start with the first question. The mass of a non-volatile solute of molar mass 40 grams per mole that should be dissolved in 114 grams of octane to lower its vapor pressure by 20% is. So it is very important to understand the question. What exactly are we supposed to find out? Okay, we have to find the mass of non-volatile solute. ಏನು mass of non-volatile solute ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು. Molar mass is given, that is 40 grams per mole, and it is dissolved in octane. So solvent is octane, 114 grams of solvent octane to lower its vapor pressure by 20%. So what is the mass of a non-volatile solute which has to be added to octane to lower the vapor pressure by how much percent? 20% we are supposed to find out. So first thing is we should know the formula. But before I go into solving this question, we'll see whether we get any hint from the options. A 10 grams, B 11.4 grams, C 9.8 grams, D 12.8 grams is given. So I am not getting any hint exactly from the options. We'll have to solve this. So first I shall write the formula, that is P naught minus P by P is equal to mole fraction of the solute. Correct? Now what we have to do, mole fraction we have to write. Mole fraction is number of moles of solute by number of moles of solvent or solution I shall take. Okay, here compared to solvent, solution we can neglect, that is why we are writing only the solvent here. Next, what is P naught? See, as it is given in 20%, I'll take P naught as 100. Okay, I'll take P naught as 100. So 20% of vapor pressure is decreasing, means what is P? 100 minus 20 is 80. That is the vapor pressure after I add some mass of the solute. So that is 80 divided by what is P? It is 80. Okay, is equal to mass by molecular mass is number of moles. Correct? So mass of the solute I need to find out. Molecular mass of solute into, that is what is there in the denominator, I shall reciprocate, that is molar mass of octane by mass of octane. Okay, so this is 20 by 80 is equal to W I need to find out. Molar mass of the solute is 40, it is given. Also molar mass of octane I need to find out. Mass of octane is 114. What is octane? C8H18. What is it? C8H18. So molecular mass of octane is 8 into 12 plus 18 is nothing but 114. So molecular mass also is 114. So it gets divided, it will become 1. Correct? So W is equal to, what we are doing is we are just moving the other things on the other side. 20 by 80 into 40 I will take on the other end. Divide by 1 or multiply 1 by 1 is 1 in the same. So I'll have to solve this. What I will get? 2, 2 and 2. So answer is 10 grams. W is 10 grams. So which is the option? It is option A, which is right. So I hope you have understood how to solve this. Next question, second one. During the adsorption of a gas on the surface of a solid, which of the following is true? ಯಾವುದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Which of the following options are true? Option A, delta G is less than 0, delta H is greater than 0, delta S is 0. Option B, delta G is greater than 0, delta H is less than 0, delta S is less than 0. Delta G is less than 0, delta H is less than 0, delta S is less than 0. Then we have delta G less than 0, delta H less than 0, delta S greater than 0. So in adsorption of a gas on the surface of a liquid, it's a spontaneous process. Delta G should be negative. For adsorption, it is an exothermic process. Gas, when it is getting adsorbed on the solid, randomness is decreasing. So all of this should be negative. That means all of them should be less than 0. So option C is the right answer. Okay. Third question. The approximate time duration in hours to electroplate 30 grams of calcium from molten calcium chloride using a current of 5 ampere is. So you're supposed to find out what is the time duration in hours which is required to electroplate 30 grams of calcium from molten calcium chloride when 5 amperes current is passed. So the amount of current passed is 5 amperes. Supposed to find out what is the time required for electroplating. Okay. So first thing is calcium chloride we have. So calcium ions will accept 2 electrons to deposit as calcium. So 1 mole of calcium to get deposited, 2 Faraday are required, correct? So we know that Q is equal to IT, correct? What is Q? How much Faraday electricity we require? That is 2 Faradays, isn't it? So it is NF 2F is equal to IT. So here we will get it as T is equal to 2F by I, that is time is equal to 2 into 96,500 divided by 5, that is 5 amperes of current we are passing, correct? So this is for 1 mole, isn't it? But do I have 1 mole of calcium? See, I have only 30 grams of calcium from molten calcium chloride I have to take. So 30 grams of calcium is how many moles? That is mass by molecular mass is number of moles. That is mass by molecular mass, I'll get the number of moles. So mass is 30, molecular mass or the atomic mass of calcium is 40. So it is 3 by 4, isn't it? So for 1 mole, the amount or the time required is 2 into 96,500 divided by 5. So 3 by 4, how much? So I'll have to just multiply 3 by 4 into 2 into 96,500 divided by 5. You will get the answer as 28,950 seconds. This is in seconds, remember, we need it in hours. So it's important to convert this into hours. So to convert into hours, 28,950 divided by 60 into 60 because this is in seconds. So if I do this, I'll get 8.04 hours. That is 8 is the correct answer. That is option A. 8 hours is required. Correct? So I hope you have understood how to solve this. So next question, that is the fourth question, is the pH of the solution obtained by mixing 100 ml of the solution of pH 3 with 400 ml of solution of pH 4 is 3 minus log 2.8, 7 minus log 2.8, 4 minus log 2.8, 5 minus log 2.8. So Pakka you are going to get log 2.8 in your answer, final answer. but the powers might vary here, that is 3, 7, 4 or 5. You should be very careful with the powers is what you get to know when you see the options. Okay, so how exactly we are doing this? See, pH of the solution obtained by, you have 100 ml of pH 3 and you have 400 ml of pH 4. You are mixing this, you are going to find out what is the pH of the solution after mixing. So we'll have to use the formula M is equal to M1V1 plus M2V2 divided by V1 plus V2. That is, you are mixing the two volumes or two different solution with different molarity. Molarity I can get to know how. It is very simple. pH is 3 means molar concentration of H plus ion is 10 to the power minus 3. So molarity is 10 to the power minus 3 I can take. So pH is 4 anta helidre H plus ion concentration is 10 to the power minus 4. Now same thing I can take over here, I can solve it. See, 100 ml of pH 3, so 10 to the power minus 3 into 100 plus 10 to the power minus 4 into 400 divide by 100 plus 400. So I'll be getting this as, if I solve this, I'll get it as 0.1 plus I'll get this as 0.04 divide by 500, which is nothing but 0.14 divide by 500. Okay, so if I solve this, I am going to get the value as 0.00028. That is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4 points I have to move. 2.8 into 10 to the power minus 4. This is what molarity. That means H plus ion concentration is 2.8 into 10 to the power minus 4. So what is the pH of the solution? Put in the formula. pH is equal to negative logarithm of H plus ion concentration. Idral hakidre enagutte? Log of 2.8 into 10 to the power minus 4. Log A into B is log A plus log B. Correct alva? Equal to minus log of 2.8 plus minus 4 log 10. Log 10 value eno 10. Minus into minus, it becomes plus. So 4 minus log 2.8 is the answer. So option C correct ide. That is 4 minus log 2.8. I know it is a little long question. In chemistry, ತುಂಬ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸಮ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ 1 minute ಎಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಓದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಓದಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೇ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇನ್ 1 minute, even if the question is based on fact. Okay, your concepts are very clear, then half of the question paper at least you can solve less than 1 minute time, such that you will get some extra time to solve such questions which is a little longer. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to solve, and with practice your calculation becomes really fast and you will be able to solve it very quickly. Okay, next question. The equilibrium constant of a reaction A plus 2B plus giving A2 plus 2B, E naught is equal to 0.295 volt is 2.303 RT by F, which is given as 0.059. So what they have given, you are supposed to find out the equilibrium constant. E naught of the cell is given. And they have given a hint that 2.303 RT by F is 0.059. Correct? That is, R value is put, temperature at 298 Kelvin is put, Faraday 96,500 if you put and solve that, you will get it as 0.059. So that only you have to take in the formula anta one hint kottidare. Okay, and what is the options we'll see. Option A is 10, B is 2 into 10 power 2, C is 3 into 10 power 2, D is 2 into 10 power 5. So equilibrium constant can be any one of the values. We do not get a lot of hint from looking into the options, isn't it? So we shall solve this. So the formula for this question is E naught of the cell is equal to 0.059 divided by n log Kc, that is the equilibrium constant. So you're supposed to find out the value of Kc. Okay, E naught of the cell, you know. What is n? From the equation, what you need to understand is A is giving A plus 2. That means 2 electrons is lost. And here 2B plus is there, means 2 electrons are accepted. So what is n? 2. So E naught of the cell is 0.0295 is equal to 0.059 divided by 2, okay, log Kc. So I'll keep log Kc on one side and 0.0295 into 2 divided by 0.059. So this gets cancelled, that is equal to 1. So log Kc is equal to 1 I'll get. So what is 1 log 10? Log gets cancelled. So Kc is equal to 10. So equilibrium constant is equal to 10. That is option A is the right answer. So I hope you have understood how to solve this problem. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. An oxygen containing organic compound was found to contain 52% carbon and 13% of hydrogen. Its vapor density is 23. The compound reacts with sodium metal to liberate hydrogen. The functional isomer of the compound is. So here we have to use the method to find out the empirical formula, and the hint that they have given is the compound reacts with sodium metal to liberate hydrogen. So which is that compound we'll have to analyze, and its functional isomer is the one which I need to tick here. Okay. So how do we solve this? First let's solve to find out the empirical formula. So how to find out empirical formula? Carbon is 52%. Then we have hydrogen is 13%. So the remaining is oxygen, that is this comes up to 65, that means 35% is oxygen. What is the atomic mass? 12, 1 and 16. So if I divide, I will get it as 4.3, 13, and here I will be getting it as 2.18. Now which is the smallest one? 2.18. So I'll divide everything by 2.18, 2.18, 2.18. So this is equal to 1. This is equal to 6. Approximate I'm writing 6, and this is equal to 2. So the empirical formula is C2H6O. This is the empirical formula. Now they have given the vapor density, so I can find out the molecular mass. That is molecular mass or molar mass is vapor density into 2. So 23 into 2, that is 46. Now what is the empirical formula mass? Empirical formula mass, okay, is equal to 12 into 2 plus 6 plus 16. This also will come as 46. So N is equal to molecular mass by empirical formula mass, both are same, so it is 1. So this only is the molecular formula also. So molecular formula is what? C2H6O. Now I'll see the hint that is given. The compound reacts with sodium metal to liberate hydrogen. You got options: ethanol, ethanol, methoxymethane, methoxyethane. So this is 2 carbon atoms, this also is 2 carbon atoms. Methoxymethane also is 2 carbon atoms compound, only here it is 3 carbon. So option D is ruled out. We don't have 3 carbon atom, we have only 2. So it can be any one of this. But it should be a functional isomer of something which reacts with sodium metal to liberate hydrogen. If I see this C2H6O, I can write it as C2H5OH, alcohol. Alcohol can liberate hydrogen gas when it is treated with metal sodium, correct? So the compound should be methanol, but its functional isomer, how I can write? I can write it as CH3OCH3. That is nothing but methoxymethane. And I have the option C, methoxymethane. So option C is the right answer. I hope you have followed this particular question. Next one. Which one of the following is not true regarding the electromeric effect? Option A, it results in appearance of partial charge on the carbon atom. It is a temporary effect. It operates on multiple bond. It requires an attacking agent. They are asking which is not correct. ಯಾವ sentence ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Correct ಅಲ್ವಾ? So which one is wrong? It results in appearance of partial charge on the carbon atom. It is not a partial charge which comes on the carbon atom. Complete pi electron is the one which is getting transferred, isn't it? So it is complete charge which is coming. See, it is electromeric effect. It's there a double bond. It's a temporary effect. It requires an attacking agent and it operates on multiple bond is absolutely right. So what happens is in presence of attacking agent, one of the carbon gets the positive charge and one of the carbon gets the negative charge. So it is complete charge which is there. It is not partial charge. So this is the option which is wrong. Okay. So we'll see the next question. That is, which one of the following is not formed when a mixture of methyl bromide and bromobenzene is heated with sodium metal in the presence of dry ether? So we shall see what exactly we have taken. Methyl bromide, that is CH3Br plus bromobenzene, benzene with bromine. So I've taken an haloarene and haloalkane. So when haloarene and haloalkane are mixed together and it is happening in the presence of sodium and dry ether, that is Wurtz-Fittig reaction, isn't it? So here what are the possible products you can get? Either CH3 will bond with itself, that is another CH3 group. Okay, that is you can get CH3 and CH3 bromine plus sodium can happen and this can get removed. CH3, you can get ethane, or you can get toluene, that is benzene with CH3 group. Okay, that is both reacting, or the same thing will react with one another to form diphenyl. That is Fittig reaction also can happen, Wurtz reaction also can happen, Wurtz-Fittig reaction also can happen. All the three can happen and three different types of products are possible. So which one of the following is not formed is the question. Now we'll see. Ethane can be formed, diphenyl can be formed, toluene can be formed, propane cannot be formed. Can we get propane? Any chances that you can get propane? It is only one carbon atom, CH3Br. You are taking methyl bromide. CH3 group, if it gets attached also, will get ethane but not propane, isn't it? So option C, that is propane is not formed. Propane form agak chance illa illi. Okay. So that is about the 8th question. 9th one. Power alcohol is a mixture of option A, 80% petrol and 20% benzene plus small quantity of ethanol. 80% petrol and 20% ethanol plus small quantity of benzene. 80% ethanol and 20% benzene with small quantity of petrol. 50% petrol, 50% ethanol and small quantity of benzene. See, power alcohol means you have 80% of petrol, 20% of alcohol with small quantity of benzene. So the correct answer is option B. Okay. 10th question. Identify C in the following. Benzene with isopropyl chloride. In the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, HCl is removed. They have given to form A. A with oxygen at 130 degrees Celsius forms B. B on acidification at 100 degrees Celsius will give phenol plus C. So we'll see what is A here. Benzene with Cl CH3. Here one hydrogen will be there. This with Cl will be removed, HCl, and this carbon atom will get attached here. So you will get on the benzene ring, you are going to get CH, CH3, CH3. This is nothing but cumin. Correct alva? Isopropyl benzene, cumin idu. Cumin, where it is coming in preparation of phenol. Cumin with oxygen gives cumin hydroperoxide. Then on acidification gives phenol plus one more product of commercial importance we have here, that is acetone, which is formed. And the answer should be acetone, or the IUPAC name propanone. So option C is right. You don't even have to write the equation here if you know the syllabus very clearly. But for those who don't know or have forgotten, I shall write it for you all. With oxygen at 130 degrees Celsius, you will get cumin hydroperoxide, that is oxygen will get added up here. You will get OOH and one CH3 group and one CH3 group. This on acidification, what will happen? CH3, CO, CH3 will remove and you are going to get phenol plus CH3, CO, CH3. This is acetone, common name. 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms and CO group is there. So it is propanone. Okay. So the answer is option C. So I hope you have understood this. This is a very easy question. Next question. 20 ml of methane is completely burnt using 50 ml of oxygen. The volume of gas left after cooling to room temperature is. So methane, when it is burnt, what are we going to get? Methane is CH4. Oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide plus water. Correct? If I balance the equation, this will be 2 and here also it will be 2. From here what you can understand is, this is a gas, methane is a gas, oxygen is a gas, carbon dioxide is a gas. When it is cooled, this will become liquid on cooling. Okay, that is in the products. On cooling, this becomes liquid and this remains as a gas. Oxygen is a gas on cooling also. Methane, we'll see, it will be completely utilized. Why? I'll tell you all. See, I have 1:2 volume I require. So I have 20 ml which is taken and here I have 50 ml of oxygen. On cooling, what is the volume of the gas which is left out? They are asking. See here, when 20 ml of methane is there, you will get 20 ml of carbon dioxide. Correct? Water I am not bothered because on cooling it will form a liquid. Okay. So 20 ml will give me 20 ml. But 20 ml will utilize how much of oxygen? 40 ml it will utilize. So how much will remain? Only 10 ml of oxygen is remaining. This is remaining. Correct? So 10 ml is remaining. 20 ml of carbon dioxide is formed. So 10 plus 20 ml, what is the amount of gas which is remaining? 20 plus 10 is 30. The answer is option D, that is 30 ml of gas is remaining or left out after the reaction mixture is completely cooled to room temperature. Okay. So 30 ml is the correct answer. So we'll see the next question. 100 ml of 0.1 molar acetic acid is completely neutralized using a standard solution of NaOH. The volume of ethane obtained at STP after the complete electrolysis of resulting solution is option A 112 ml, option B 56 ml, option C 224 ml, option D 560 ml. So we have to find out what is the volume of ethane which is obtained at STP. Okay. So 100 ml of 0.1 molar acetic acid is neutralized using standard solution of NaOH. Okay. Now if I take acetic acid and it undergoes electrolysis, that is CH3COOH. On electrolysis it will give CH3COO free radical and H free radical. Further carbon dioxide will be removed and I'll get methyl free radical. So I'll require 2 methyl free radicals to give C2H6, that is ethane. Correct? No, this is 1 mole of ethane which is occupying 22.4 liters of volume at STP. Okay, but I require 2 methyl free radicals. If I require 2 methyl free radicals, then I'll require 2 molecules of acetic acid as well. Correct? No, only then I'll get here 2 and here 2 methyl free radicals. So what happens is, now I have 100 ml of 0.1 molar acetic acid. How much? 100 ml of 0.1 molar acetic acid. So what I know is molarity is 0.1, volume is 100. Correct? So can I find the number of moles of acetic acid which is there? I can find out. Molarity formula is what? Number of moles of the solute by volume in liters. Correct? So number of moles of acetic acid is molarity into volume in liters. Okay? So molarity is 0.1. Volume 100 ml in liters, if I tell, it is 0.1. 0.1 into 0.1 is 0.01. This is the number of moles. If 2 moles of acetic acid can give 1 mole of ethane, what is it? 2 moles are giving 2 moles of acetic acid is giving 1 mole of ethane, which is nothing but 22.4 liters of ethane. Then how many moles do I have? I have only 0.01 moles. Then how much it will give? So the answer is 0.01 into 22.4 divided by 2. So this, if I multiply, I'll get it as 0.112 liters. But I want it in ml here. So it will be nothing but 112 ml. So the answer is option A, 112 ml. So I hope you have understood how to solve. If you understand this first part, then the entire thing is quite easy. Okay. Saccharin is an artificial sweetener, is manufactured from cellulose, toluene, cyclohexane, starch. Saccharin is an artificial sweetener. It cannot be prepared from cellulose or starch or cyclohexane. It has to be prepared from toluene, because the structure of saccharin is benzene ring with C double bond O, and it has got S with 2 double bond O and an NH. As it contains the benzene ring, you will know it has to be prepared from toluene, not cyclohexane, no starch, or not cellulose. Okay, so this is a fact which you need to know. Next question. Which of the following is not true for SN1 reaction? Not true. Okay, so it's favored by polar solvent, SN1 reaction. It is correct. Tertiary alkyl halide generally reacts through SN1 reaction. That is also correct. The rate of reaction does not depend on molar concentration of the nucleophile. Even that is correct. It depends only on the alkyl halide, isn't it? So obviously this is the one which has to be wrong, but we'll read the question. Primary alkyl halide generally react through SN1 reaction. No, primary alkyl halide, it will undergo SN2 reaction, not SN1 reaction. So this is the option which is wrong or which is not true. Okay. So next question. Oil of wintergreen is an ester, a carboxylic acid, an alcohol, a ketone. What is oil of wintergreen? It is methyl salicylate. So it will be benzene ring, COOCH3 and OH group. So this is called as methyl salicylate. See, it has got an ester group, isn't it? So it is an ester. It is an ester. Okay. Next question. An organic compound A burns with a sooty flame. It is a negative towards Tollens reagent test and positive for Bosch's reagent test. The compound A is option A, benzaldehyde, option B, acetophenone, option C, acetone, option D, salicylic acid. So what is the hint which we are getting here? The first hint is an organic compound A burns with sooty flame. So when it is giving a sooty flame, compound is aromatic. It should have a ring. Next, it's negative towards Tollens reagent test. Negative for Tollens. So it is not an aldehyde. correct? But it has a carbonyl group because it is answering Bosch's reagent test. So positive for Bosch's reagent. So it should contain a carbonyl group. It should contain a carbonyl group. So benzaldehyde, it's an aldehyde. Acetophenone can be because it's aromatic and contains the carbonyl group. Acetone no, salicylic acid no. So the answer is acetophenone is one which is burnt here. Okay. Next question. For a reaction A plus B giving products, the rate of the reaction at various concentrations are given. The rate law for the above reaction is R is equal to K, A to the power 2, B to the power 1, A to the power 1, B to the power 2. Here it is given A to the power 3, B to the power 1, D, A to the power 2, B to the power 2. But what are we going to get from the experiment? See, in the first experiment, molar concentration is 0.2, B also is 0.2, rate is 2, correct? But if you see the option 2 or the experiment 2, if you see, molar concentration A is kept constant, B is doubled, 0.2 has become 0.4. So rate also has doubled. That means what? It is a first order reaction, correct? No, here 0.4 by 0.2, 4 by 2. So this is 2 and this also is 2. 2 to the power n is 2. So n is equal to 1. So the order with respect to B is 1. Correct? Now see the third one. 0.2 has changed to 0.6. B is kept constant. And 4 has become 36. So it is 0.6 divided by 0.2. 36 divided by 4. So this is 3 and this is 9. So how do I relate this? 3 is equal to 3 square. So n is equal to 2. That is 3 into 3 is 9. So n will be equal to 2. That means with respect to B it is a second order reaction. So the option A should be right. With respect to A it is second order. With respect to B it is the first order reaction. So option A is the correct answer. So we'll see the next question. Which one of the following has no unpaired electron? Oxygen has got 16 electrons. Option B is O2 minus. It has got 16 plus 1, 17 electrons. O2 plus has got 15 electrons. Then we have O2 minus minus. That means 16, 17, 18. 18 electrons. Now, which has no unpaired electron? Now, which is diamagnetic? That is no unpaired electron. Now, if you see 16 electrons is paramagnetic. That means unpaired electron is there. Odd number means it is paramagnetic. So, this also is paramagnetic. This also is paramagnetic. Only even number if it is there. Other than 16 and 10 even numbers. All the other even numbers it is diamagnetic. Correct? No. So, if it is diamagnetic, no unpaired electron. So, O2 minus. Option D, there is no unpaired electron. So, this is the shortcut which you need to know to solve this. Otherwise, you will have to sit and write the entire electronic configuration to find out whether there is unpaired electron or not. Okay. Next question. The atomic number of cobalt is 27. The EAN of cobalt in Na3CO, NO2, 4 and Cl2 is. Here, first I will find the oxidation state of cobalt. This is plus 3 plus X minus 4 minus 2. Sorry, plus minus 2 is equal to 0. So, it will be X is equal to plus 3. This is the oxidation state of the metal. Atomic number is given. So, AAN. For those who don't know what is EAN, first it is the atomic number of metal plus number of ligands into electron donated minus oxidation state of metal. or this one I can also write it as number of electrons donated by the ligands. Okay, so atomic number is 27 plus number of ligands. How many I have? I have 4 plus 2, 6 ligands, and all are monodentate, so it is 2, 12 minus 3. So it is 27 plus 6 2s are 12 minus 3. So I'll get the answer as 7, 8, 9. So it is 39 minus 3, which is 36. So the EAN number is option C, that is 36. Okay. Next question. The spin only magnetic moment of Ni plus 2 in aqueous solution would be root 6 bm, root 15 bm, root 2 bm, root 8 bm. Just by looking at this only I can tell it is root 8 bm. How if you ask? It is very simple. Ni plus 2 state, they have given the atomic number, it is D8 system in Ni plus 2 8, that is argon with 3D8 4S0. D8 system ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡೇ ಅನ್ಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ಇರೋದು, but still I will write it only for you all to understand. 5 6 7 8, so 2 unpaired electrons. So square root of n into n plus 2, that is 2 to 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 2s are 8. So square root of 8. Option D is the right answer.